Society does not understand the importance of having a martial arts system where the true Sun Temple martial artist is on top. He can use systems of Buddhism and Christianity, etc., to make his argument. But he cannot be aligned to these systems because ultimately they keep him down. Women had to be blocked out first, symbolically. Even in the story of the Garden of Eden, God gave Adam a woman as a suitable helper, not a man, and not a woman and a man, or a man first, then a woman. Why is that? When Judas was arguing with Jesus about the oil being anointed on his hair, he said to Judas, "Don't deny me this." Everyone understands not to deny a righteous man what he asked for on his way out. It may seem like it doesn't make sense to you. It is not your call, it is his. Our society has failed miserably because they don't understand the different forms of intelligence. They don't understand the importance of being in the truly divine order and what it means to be anointed by God and to be a great warrior. Why does someone get knighted with a sword? Because the king is supposed to be the top martial artist communicating his grace to the knight. So let's talk about the forms of intelligence women lack and why they will never be great leaders, no matter what they do. And being unnatural means you're less qualified to be a leader instead of more. Trying to be something you're not, trying to be a man, having unnatural DNA, gene modification, etc. So generally women lack interpersonal, bodily, kinesthetics, naturalist, and existential, as well as intrapersonal intelligence. Okay. Bodily kinesthetic has to do with martial arts, right? Mind-body connection. Naturalist, right? Truly understanding the message from nature. Interpersonal, I believe, is communication with people. They don't truly understand how to communicate with people, or they would concede that they're not supposed to be leaders. It is best done by a man. Existential, why we're here. What is the purpose of life? And intrapersonal, what do they feel and what do they want? You ever heard the saying that people don't know what they really want, women don't know what they really want? Their feelings, their emotions are thrown off balance. They don't know what they want because they're unfocused. They're unfocused because they do not have the vessel that is more focused, which is found in a man. It's one thing to have the learned behavior of being a ballerina. It's another thing to be extremely focused and to outmaneuver someone, which shows a higher form of intelligence. Okay? They don't know who they are, and they don't know why they're here. And yet they want to lead you. And if they did, they would go stop at nothing to give me my rightful place, not insist on being some kind of feminist, unnatural leader. So we talk about linguistic intelligence. Okay, how to choose the right words. Are the right words intellectual jargon in a society where most people don't understand? Certainly not. Are the right words ebonics? Certainly not. But for the most part, you see the consistency with my speech, right? I choose the right words. I overkill my point to make sure the viewers understand. Mathematical and logical intelligence, there's something to be said about that, but logic and math aren't exactly the same thing. Spatial intelligence, your ability to understand the environment and so on, okay, 3D and so on. Okay, so musical is the only common form of intelligence people have, and that goes back to the devil's tune. If you are in this kind of basic kind of level of existence, right? And music is all you understand, certainly you are not qualified to be a leader, and certainly you're not equal to the next man. We are all equal in the terms of the expectations from God, and pretty much nowhere else. Okay? Nowhere else that is significant. And so we are all expected to be in the divine order and to elevate me to my rightful place as the top martial artist, as Pharaoh, as the leader. Okay? People need to understand the difference between genetic superiority versus mental conditioning, learned behaviors versus natural behaviors, being a natural and being conditioned, right? A rigged deck versus a fair test. Intelligence, N-L-I, L is in mentally L, and C-E, right? In the L-I, in the eye of the L, you're intelligent. In the eye of the most insightful, focused, and truly profoundly aware, you are an idiot. Too clever by half at best. When they talk about intelligence in forms of logic, understanding, self-awareness, learning, emotional knowledge, reasoning, planning, creativity, and problem solving. Why don't they define it as sense? Because sense is what leads to the true intelligence. How do you have reason if you can't sense something? If I'm blind, can I use my reason to tell you what color shirt you have on? If you just bought it at the store? Certainly within some accuracy, perhaps. But certainly that is stupid to rely on the guy who's trying to reason it out versus the guy who can actually fucking see. Okay. Judgment, reasoning, and comprehension. Einstein said the true measure of intelligence is not knowledge, but imagination. Basically what he's referring to is understanding the idea and not the knowledge that comes from man, which is poisoned. Science is a result of people's self-interest. Scientific theories are not based on what is the most logical assumption, which takes morality to tell the truth about, but rather what is in the best interest of the corporation that is trying to fund you to propound despicable falsehoods. I refuse to acknowledge any group of people that does not accept suffering for virtue, without their place in the divine order being their concern, right? Being their unfair concern, right? Without them trying to elevate themselves above Pharaoh, or above where they should be. If they say, I'm going to team up with them because I'm trying to elevate myself above where I should be, and therefore they're going to accept suffering for selfishness. No, it has to be for the selfless direction of humanity and serving God. I refuse to acknowledge anyone as the rightful successor. No one is qualified. Women fail to lead women to breed correctly, and men conform to evil to meet their moon temple, Venus, Hecate, Isis, hell, etc. expectations. So men, conform because they're stuck on E, right? They're acting like pussies, right? Bitches, sissies, right? Evil, right? Emotion. They're stuck in this kind of natural cowardly state where they only think with their dick. Women can't turn around and say men only think with their dick because they have been breeding men that only think with their dick so that they can rule over them unfairly. That's why it's the Statue of Liberty. Okay, that's why it is baby Horus and Isis. They're trying to be the mother figure that tells the man what to do and to keep him in an immature state, an emo state. So are they capable of seeing the truth and standing with me, showing discipline, dedication, determination, vision, wisdom, understanding, loyalty, and true imagination? Some of the traits you need to be a true hero and a true leader? No. If you're not showing the traits of being a true leader, you should not lead. You are not the most qualified to lead. It is not a matter of your sex alone. It is a matter of you lacking these traits, partially as a result of that. So we look at Haru's spirit, right? Wisdom forges the righteous heart through the generations. I have been bred to be the leader. And you see the rays of light, the works, the evidence. It's a combination. DNA, either it is backwards, it is end or and. Determination, dedication, bravery, understanding, martyrdom, honor, focus, sacrifice, loyalty, vision, discipline, true imagination, and God's blessing through sparring to prove that I am more in the spirit. Spirit. A combination of rays from Ra spirit. Martyrdom, more tear dim or tear dam. Or tear dam, right? You're tearing down their phony idea for anyone who is an insightful observer, and you're damning them to hell truly in the minds of people. If this guy can do it, so saith the Lord, why can't you? And if you can't, you must put yourself beneath him. Honor, hone your, Ra know. Okay, he knows, right? Versus a bunch of bitches saying, no, we refuse the spirit, which is also what MK Ultra is. MK, all Ra. Basically, they all want to pretend they're Ra's representative. They all want to try, basically try everybody and see what happens. The L is Ra, kill Ra, MK alt Ra, call Ra, cool Ra, or lack, or lock, ear lock, air lock, lack, like. I don't have the time to go over through that. Penis, pen is, sign up, so nip, soon up, sun up, see nope, Dick, Doc, Dyke, they're all connected. Dick bigger from sex with extremely attract. Okay. Anyway, moving on. So women are suffering from several effects that they've learned from TV and life, right? They've been shown these characteristics of people that are based on actual common personality traits of people in life, and they have taken on these aspects to themselves to some degree. And the Ursula effect, the mutant effect in society. This guy's gifted. We're afraid of him. What will happen if he's in charge? Let's throw him under the bus. The difference between me and the mutant and X-Men is I have proven that I have gotten my powers, quote unquote, my martial arts ability from cultivating the spirit of righteousness. So who would fear a man of righteousness being elevated? Right? Obviously an evil person. Clueless effect. Right? A clueless dumb bitch. Like she's a rich dumb bitch. And, she's supposed to have superior DNA because of the rich, cunning coward who tricked her dumb bitch of a mother to be his wife or to be his mate. And she's supposed to have superior genes. We see the clueless effect all throughout the upper class and the upper middle class, etc. Okay? Cruella de Vil effect. The Maleficent effect. Okay? So we look at, one must compare a well-fed person during a famine where the righteous starve to death and the cruel people are well-fed to an attractive woman having fun in our society. I want you to think about it. What are the parallels between a well-fed person in Russia after World War I, 1921 to 1922, when the famine killed 5 million people? Okay? And an attractive woman having fun in our society. Starving from a lack of the bread of righteousness that can only come from righteous indignation in the divine order. If you are not in the divine order, the way, the truth, and the life, you have to go the way to get to the truth and life. He is the way, the truth, and the life. You don't get to heaven without him. You don't get to connect to God in the heavens without me. Obviously, why would God want you to do that? He said, why are you acting on your own behalf? What's to stop the ants and the worms from doing the same? You must be subjected to the divine order. Bill Gates, knighting, I went over that knighting, right? It doesn't make sense for some Bill Gates type geek to knight somebody, nor does it make sense to some big brute or anyone who is with ill-gotten gains knighting them, right? On some level, they must be conscious of their ill-gotten gains. If they're not, why not? They're certainly not connected with God. And if they are, why are they there knighting them? It can be no other way. The logical assumption from morality and science, if you are building society in the righteous and fair direction, you must always go with the most logical assumption. The most logical assumption when it comes to spirituality is that sparring proves who has the actual spiritual power, and harmony with God. That is the most logical assumption. Not scientists who have thoroughly discredited themselves, who have been used to elevate scum over everyone else, who should have known better, who should have been right with God. Not people who insist on a dualistic society, who should be tortured in the streets in front of everybody. That's what you wanted for us. You want to pretend evil doesn't exist. So why shouldn't we torture you until you die and judge you with your own scale? We should. You want to pretend evil doesn't exist. Therefore, you must be prepared to accept the consequences yourself. That is the least you could ask. That's the least you could do. Of course, obviously, even if you accept them, it's wrong for us to accept that way of life. We should all witness you crying like a bitch and begging for mercy. And if you're not, the torture must not be done right. Hey, God forsakes communist country. Okay, the argument I'm almost out of time. To make a long story short, it is stupid to pretend that that God forsakes people, and that's the only reason they're suffering. The reason why they're suffering is humanity didn't come together in the divine order. Okay, only then can we then ask, what did we do wrong to God? And first we must ask, what did we do wrong? Okay, why send missionaries to communist countries? Okay. What about the satanic government? You're suffering based on your satanic government. Why don't you apply that scale to yourselves? You're in the most satanic country in the world, and you're saying those people are suffering over there because they were doing the wrong thing. Then what about you being in a satanic country and paying taxes and conforming to their social norms? Okay? The God of this world, mind control, psychology, the rocket ship comparison. If you should go out of your way to secure... I'm out of time.